Hi everyone, my name's Janelle. I'm a functional nutritionist who lives and plays in the Sierra Mountains, and this is my podcast where we talk about functional health with a mountain twist in 30 minutes or less. I love talking to my trail bestie and dietitian, Tara Thies, this week. Tara specializes in sports nutrition and has coached many professional and recreational athletes over the years. Tara also teaches a nutrition class for injury recovery. If you want to prevent injury, recover strong, or know someone else recovering from injury, you don't want to miss this discussion. Well, welcome, Tara. I am super stoked you're here, but it is sort of funny being here with you virtually because typically you and I are on the trail together somewhere, right? Mountain biking, running, skiing, something. So this is different. But I'm super grateful you're here and thank you for being virtual with us.
Very excited to be sitting with you.
Yes, sitting with you, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so before we jump into our topic, I just want to say, Tara, I love this about you. I love so many things about you. You and I are very good friends, but I love that you have found a way to blend your work with what you love. So you are so passionate about running and mountain sports, and you've worked with so many athletes, professional, recreational. You've worked with companies that develop products to fuel mountain athletes and athletes. So I just think it's so incredibly cool that you work so closely with exactly what you love. So that's awesome. Bravo.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's very cool. So today you and I are here to talk about nutrition to support a fast and strong recovery from injury. So to start off, let's just go big picture. What are we thinking about? What are we taking into consideration when we think about nutrition for recovery?
So, big picture is lay the groundwork before you get injured.
Mm.
Yes. And what that means is, just be eating in a way that supports your lifestyle and your activity for the long term. And what that means is adequate calories from energy. And that means all the things that we say about variety in flavor and texture and color. And also protein. People, like, I know protein has like a super like health halo right now. But we do need more than we think we do when we're active. And fueling appropriately for the amount of activity you're doing and fueling throughout the day for the activity that you're doing. Some very basic things like don't skip meals, make sure you're getting protein, quality carbohydrate with fiber, and colorful fruits and vegetables. Like that's like your mainstay.
And that's your groundwork. That's setting the stage so you don't get injury.
Yes.
Yeah.
Knowing that, yeah, if the odds are, if you're super active, if you're running, if you're skiing, if you're doing all the things, odds are you're going to get injured at some point. So if you have that foundation set, that reduces your odds because adequate energy, we know when you're fueled properly, you're more focused on your sport, you're more focused on the activity, you're more present for it, you're less likely to get injured, but you still might get injured. And yeah, so.
Right. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So that's great that you started with that. That's brilliant. So the first thing you can do to eat for recovery is eat to prevent injury. I love it. And then of course there's the whole topic of training properly, but that's not what this is about. Our talk today is about if someone gets injured, how do we eat to recover? This is your specialty, right, Tara? You teach a class about this. So
Yeah.
as a dietitian, this is one of your specialties. So what do we do? What are the secrets? What are we thinking about?
Well, first of all, so I wanted like the types of injuries we're generally talking about are connective tissue. So damage to your skin, your cartilage, your tendons, your ligaments, muscle strains or muscle tears, bone. So if you have a stress reaction or a stress fracture or a full-on break, concussions, and then like post-op from a surgery that you had to endure as a result of the injury. So those are all types of injury that can benefit or will benefit from a quicker return to your daily life and your daily activities when you're considering proper nutrition and like proper nutrition for that injury. So what that looks like is, one, people get super confused about calories, like, oh, I'm injured now, so you're less active, right? In the immediacy of it generally. And that can result in a lower appetite. But your body is still working really hard to send nutrients and repair that injury site, and it's still burning calories. So you don't want to underconsume calories and skimp. At the same time, you might actually put on a little weight during this time of injury, and that is better than getting undernourished and under calories and losing weight during this time frame. So I kind of call it your protective calorie layer. It brings you, it sets your body up for energy positive to fix the injury site. Like, that's what your body needs, is that fuel to repair.
Okay, that's such a really good point. I love it. So I heard you say a lot of things, but first and foremost, it takes energy to repair and recover. So don't underestimate that. Your body has extra needs. Even though you're moving less, your body needs a lot of nutrition and energy to recover properly. So that's a really great point. I love that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and a lot of the tendency is to like, oh, I should cut back on calories because I'm moving less. And maybe you do need to cut back a little, but not so much that you are like in a deficit. And that's where working one-on-one with a dietitian can help you figure out how much and what that looks like. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I love what you said too about it's better to gain a little weight and recover well versus lose weight and that probably slow your recovery.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
That's a really awesome point. I like that.
So another thing to think about when you're eating for recovery is protein. So protein is critical for that whole list of things that I said. So protein is necessary to rebuild cells and tissues and particularly muscle and tendons and ligaments. Our protein needs will go up, especially if our calorie needs are going down. So the protein will become a larger portion of those total calories that you're consuming. And you may need a little dial back the carbohydrate. And that what I like to tell people, like the general rule of thumb with protein is you want to be consuming at least 3 times a day about the size of the palm of your hand of protein. So what foods have protein? Well, we know animal products, animal foods, animal-based foods have very high quality complete proteins. So fish, that's going to give you a double whammy because it'll also give you some omega-3s and anti-inflammatories. But the size of the palm of your hand, like think like a chicken breast or a fillet of some kind in thickness and size. And what we know is that's about 20, depending, maybe 30 grams, depending on the size of your hand and the proportion to your body. And that 20 to 30 grams spread out throughout the day is beneficial because it's delivering essential amino acids over the course of the day for your body to utilize in the recovery process.
I love that visual. It's really simple. It's really clear. You don't have to get lost in the weeds. 3 times a day, that good size of protein. And also with the animal protein, it's just easy to get all those essential amino acids, right? Which you really need for repair and recovery.
Yes, it's not impossible to do it with plants,
Mhm.
but you have to fill the gap.
Mhm.
So let's say it's like soy or beans or pea protein. They're going to be low in one of those, maybe 2 essential amino acids, or they're not going to be as high in those essential amino acids as the animal protein. But if you complement them with a whole grain of, the classic is beans and rice. Those are a classic combination because they fill the gap. So rice fills in where pea or legumes or beans are less, and then you get a complete protein source.
Awesome. Okay, so protein is a really big one.
Another thing to think about, because I'm jumping, you're going to ask me, okay, what's next? Nitrate. So nitrate from whole foods. So incorporating foods that are high in nitrate into your daily diet can help improve the blood flow and the availability of those nutrients. Specifically thinking about stimulating collagen synthesis from foods that are high in nitrate. So nitrate it's nitric oxide. Your body takes in nitrate from your food, and it's in foods like things that we've already been talking about that have a lot of color, rich leafy greens, arugula, kind of those bitter kind of vegetables, um,
Beets.
beets,
I love
kale,
beets.
celery, spinach. Even I can't look at arugula without thinking about nitric oxide now. And it's like, oh, it's like that's what's delivering some of that bitterness, right? So those foods are high in nitrate. Your body converts that into nitric oxide, and then it helps increase blood flow and the availability of nutrients that help to stimulate collagen synthesis in those soft tissues. So if you have a ligament tear or strain or a tendon or cartilage damage, increasing the amounts of foods that you're eating from this nitrate supportive list is helpful.
And we're not talking about foods that have added nitrates. We're talking about
Right.
vegetables that have naturally occurring nitrates. Very different
Yeah.
than the bacon that you buy with added nitrite and nitrate.
Good clarification. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the right kind of nitrate. Thinking about like other injuries, like there's bone injury. We have a friend with a broken foot right now
Yes.
in 3 different places. So what's important when we're thinking about bones? What's the first nutrient that comes to mind?
Magnesium.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I just wanted to
well,
throw you off, but that is what I
okay.
think of. Vitamin
Magnesium's
D?
great. Vitamin D would be like the second one I would think of. Calcium,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So calcium is stored in our bones. It's super important. Vitamin D also very important for the health and recovery of that bone strength. A common recommendation that you see is like 3 glasses of milk a day, and that's because where that recommendation has come from is because we know 3 glasses of milk will get you the 100% of the RDA for calcium.
Right. It might not be
And
so bioavailable, but it's in there.
right. This is why you want a variety of different foods that provide you with that calcium. So
Mhm.
whether it's dairy or again those leafy green vegetables or broccoli, and different combinations of those foods will help to improve that bioavailability.
Mhm.
Actually having a supplement as well. So I like to think of it food first, supplement supported. And there are occasions where calcium, the break is strong enough or big enough that it's going to take a little extra calcium, like 500 milligrams of calcium with 1,000 IUs of vitamin D. So let's talk a little bit about vitamin D. Vitamin D is not super accessible in our food supply. If you think about the sources, it's coming from dairy. It's fortified in dairy. You can get it in fatty fish as well. Algae is a source of vitamin D. If you have a way to consume algae that is not toxic.
I love beef liver. That's my favorite form, and eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, and your needs go up. We know that you can take in quite a lot of vitamin D. Oh, and then there's the sunshine, right? So sun exposure, but some people aren't super great vitamin D producers with that sun exposure. It's kind of dependent on your genetics.
And it's
So
dependent on your gut microbiome and your liver, right? That's where we convert that
exactly.
precursor into usable D. I know. So I love that. So now you're talking about not just the nutrient, but how we integrate it into our unique bodies. So I love that conversation. Brilliant.
Yeah. So that's one nutrient where I like to have some reassurance with a supplement. And oftentimes, if you have an injury or you're going to have a surgery, I'm super psyched to see it lately, but most of the orthopedic surgeons are now ordering a vitamin D test. So it's a blood test. They test for 25 hydroxy D in your system. And if you're low, it's an automatic referral to a ortho nutrition dietitian. And then we talk about, well, how do we get your level up?
Yeah.
If you're low and you want, or you're on the low end of what is deemed normal range, you can, 5,000 IUs. Yep. They've done studies where you can go up to like 10,000 IUs and there's no toxicity level.
Isn't it interesting? That one is such a big range, like of what people recommend. It's like such a huge range.
Huge. It's huge. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we talked about calcium, which is the one that everyone thinks of when we think about bones. We talked about vitamin D. I love magnesium, C, and K also for bones.
Let's talk about how much vegetables. So like making the majority of your plate a colorful variety of vegetables is super healthy. But like the minimum to getting some of those nutrients from them is like 5 cupped hands per day. Like if you were to like figure out, okay, how here are all the nutrients that I'm getting from vegetables. How much of those vegetables do I need to eat to meet the requirements for vitamin C, for magnesium, for potassium, for calcium? That's 5 cupped hands per day. You can blend it, that. But that also generally means figure out how to get some vegetables, some green leafies, some tomato into your breakfast in the morning. It's really super simple.
It's such a great habit.
And it sounds complicated, but it takes literally 10 minutes to like whip up an egg, put a little olive oil in the pan and drop some tomato, garlic, greens. Once you put the greens in there, like you're like, oh, I'm going to add these onions and I'm going to add the garlic. And then you've got this delicious like stuff you could put on fancy whole wheat toast. And then you've got fancy toast. And it took you 10 minutes.
Yeah, I love that. And my even 50-second cheater way is like to just get the handful of sprouts. I'm always just like, all right, I didn't have time this morning. So here, I'm just going to add this to whatever I'm eating, or the quick, arugula salad with lemon juice. And
that is what my go-to is always like, when in doubt, just throw arugula on it.
Yeah. That's so funny. There's the takeaway. No, that's great though.
There was an episode of I don't know if you remember this show Portlandia.
Of course.
Episode of Portlandia where they were like, put an owl on it because owls were everywhere, and it was like, just put an owl on it. Or maybe it was a bird, put a bird on it. Just think, put arugula on it.
Just put arugula on it.
Yeah.
I do think that way though. It's like the best cheater, easy way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Really good
Um,
points, Tara.
so like, I think I'm kind of saving the, like, my two favorite things for last.
Mm,
And these are often overlooked because you have to supplement them to get enough of them to help with the recovery process.
okay. What are
Um,
they?
well, the first one is collagen.
Aha.
And collagen, we know they've done a lot of research. There's a whole lab at UC Davis, with Keith Barr has a lab there where he has done a lot of looking into collagen as far as its capabilities for literally rebuilding ligament, tendon, and cartilage tissue. And there's really a kind of a standard protocol from that research for including collagen. So if you've had ligament tear, strain, joint replacement, repair, collagen is definitely going to help support the health of those tendons, ligaments, and cartilage. Also, what collagen is going to help is your biggest piece of connective tissue, which is your skin. So you'll see a lot of collagen supplements in the skincare aisle now. But know that that is not where you really want to, you don't want to be getting collagen from like gummies, because you're going to have to take like, to get the amount that we know research supports, you have to take like 10 to 15 gummies.
I mean, you might want to do that, but I'm not sure that it's the best choice.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, that's good advice.
in a pinch, maybe
Yeah,
you're
in a
camping
pinch.
or something.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I think that's a really good point. Okay, so where do you recommend people get their collagen then?
Collagen, it comes in, it's a white powder. You can get it flavored. It comes in canisters. There's a couple different brands of it. Some collagen comes with vitamin C. And the importance of vitamin C is that it helps the tendons and ligaments absorb the collagen.
So it makes
Um,
it more bioavailable.
exactly.
Love it, love
So
it.
you don't want to be deficient in vitamin C. You don't have to take them together, vitamin C and collagen. But if you're low on vitamin C,
Mm.
circulating vitamin C in your bloodstream, then it's not going to be as bioavailable. Another piece of collagen is like, okay, so white powder, it's, if you get a flavored one, you can mix it in water, and some of them have like strawberry lemonade flavors. But I personally like the unflavored, because then you can add it to coffee. Comes in a scoop. You can add it, comes with a scoop, and it's generally 1 to 2 scoops. It's anywhere between 15 to 30 grams of collagen. And the best time to do that for the most effective impact on the injured area is before weight-bearing exercise. And it doesn't have to be a long bout of weight-bearing exercise. What we know is it's like it'd be like 10 to 15 minutes of weight-bearing exercise. So that could be the amount of time you're doing some kind of physical therapy. And if you consume this collagen like right before that, or within like 30 minutes before, that exercise, that weight-bearing activity helps signal to the body where the collagen is needed the most.
Oh,
So,
what? I didn't know that.
uh,
That's really interesting.
yeah, so it's a timing thing as well. Um, like I said, it's flavorless generally, so you can add it to anything you can get it to dissolve in.
That's awesome. Um,
Yeah. So
great.
vitamin C, collagen.
Or and also bone broth, if you make it right, has a good amount of collagen in it.
Yes, bone broth, and actually most of the studies have been done using gelatin, those little gelatin packs.
I
But
like those. I actually do use those sometimes. Like even just
Mhm.
making little herb gummies or something with the gelatin. I love those.
Mhm.
It's
and it
fun.
and it's not as expensive, and it will impact your skin. So
So
yeah,
hey, there's
hey,
that.
healthy glow.
I put a scoop of collagen every day in my smoothie. So I do a scoop of protein powder and a scoop of collagen. just because it gets that extra bonus of collagen.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect. So
love it.
the protein powder is also giving you leucine. Um,
Yeah.
and you want, what we know is like around that 20-gram mark of animal protein, you're getting about 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine, and that helps stimulate muscle building, um,
Awesome. And is that,
along with exercise.
and that's what whey has a lot of, right? Am I right?
Whey,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the richest source of leucine in
Okay.
the smallest portion.
Oh, okay. Good to
Yeah.
know.
So
Cool.
speaking of muscle, another
Yes.
thing that's super helpful with muscle and helping you to maintain and rebuild muscle, maintain muscle when, maybe you're not able to use that joint as well, you're gonna lose some muscle integrity. Something that can help maintain that during that time and rebuild when you begin to rehab the injury is creatine monohydrate. Creatine monohydrate is another white powder. This is why my family's like, there's white powder all over the floor and on the counter.
Yeah, totally.
Everything's a powder. Um, but creatine, we know, is a super safe and super effective organic compound made of these 3 different amino acids that is stored in our muscle. And we excrete it every day. And then it needs to be replaced. And we can replace it with animal protein. So meat, turkey, poultry, all that can replace it. The one thing we know is that as we get older, we are not able to consume enough to outpace what we excrete.
Mm.
So adding this supplement of about 5 grams per day as a maintenance dose. You can load it. This is what people who are looking to build muscle mass do. They'll load it up to 20 grams of creatine per day for 7 days. They spread it out in like 4 doses throughout the day for 7 days, and then step into the maintenance dose.
Which you said
And
was 5 grams a day.
yeah,
And you said, let me get this right. This is good. So you said in order to help preserve your muscle while you're recovering. Is
yes,
that right? Is that what you
yes,
said? Okay.
yes.
That's
Um,
great.
that is, I mean, you'll notice, like, I know that when I tore my ACL, like after surgery, it was like I had a stick leg.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I wished I'd started the creatine sooner, after the injury. But it definitely, by, getting it on board during the recovery helps with the muscle building over time.
That's super smart. I like
Yeah.
that bonus. Another white powder to add.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Um, so collagen powder, really helpful. Creatine powder, really good at helping preserve that muscle mass so that when you do get back up and at it, you can start getting strong again fast.
And let me dispel the myth on, it's not really a myth. If you're taking really high doses of creatine, you may pull in some more water and gain water weight, but you likely on a 3 to 5 gram maintenance dose, it's not going to be an issue.
And I find sometimes that like just happens at the beginning, maybe, and then sort of
Yeah,
levels off for some people if it does happen. Yeah, that's good. I
good
love
point.
this because I mean, really, when you get injured, it is like I call it a building phase. Like we are thinking about building diets, building nutrition instead of what you said at the beginning, like lessening. And so this is all about how exactly to support our body's ability to build itself back up.
Which is exactly, I see, like, oh my gosh, you kind of reframe your mindset around, oh, I'm injured, I can't do the things I want to do, but it's like, okay, what's how can we reframe this? Well, it's an opportunity
Mm.
um to rebuild your diet, start reassessing, looking at it, make it work harder for you, make it work better for you. So there's it's a bummer. You can't do your sport or whatever is your passion, but think about building back better
Mm.
from this injury than when you went into it. And these are all the tools using all the tools that are available to you.
I love that mindset shift. I think that's such a cool, important part of it. And I mean, there is a lot of research behind um, our mindset in recovery and how we feel about things and how much stress we're experiencing and changing our mindset. I really like that. Is a really powerful way to impact our healing and our recovery. And you did that so well, Tara. I watched you heal from your knee injury, and I know you were bummed and I know it sucked, and you stayed so positive and you did so much physical therapy and you did so many things
Mhm.
and you did build back stronger. I mean, you really did. You recovered so well and strong. So, I mean, I
I
know
was
you teach people how to
definitely,
do it, but you also did it
yeah.
yourself.
I was very depressed for 2 weeks. And then
Hmm.
I was like, okay, I'm done with that. We
Yeah.
know once you know what the plan is, then you're just like, let's execute. We're going to
Yeah.
do this plan and come back better. I actually looked at it too as like, oh, finally my opportunity to get the treatment of a professional athlete. Like I've got all these resources available to me now, and I can learn new things, and I can treat myself as well as as someone whose body is how they make their living
Right. Right. And you did that through insurance, right?
through
Like
insurance. Yeah.
your physical therapist, and because I know
Yep.
not everyone has the resources, but but insurance does cover a lot when you're injured.
And I actually injured myself. When I injured myself, I did not have insurance. So there was a lot of things to figure out, but there's always a way. There's a way to get the surgery. There's a way to get the coverage. There's always a way. And the more you lean on your like physical therapist or your dietitian, and your dietitian, they will help you get if they know you are like, I need this. I want more physical therapy. I want to be 110% when I graduate from this program. 80% is not good enough. They will go to bat for you with insurance to get coverage.
Wow, yeah, that's a good tip for sure. Speak up, ask for
Yeah.
help,
Yeah.
and eat your protein.
Yeah. All your white powders.
All your white powders and colorful vegetables. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I love it. So anything else you want to add before we wrap up? Is there anything you wish that like everyone understood about healing and recovering? Anything you want to shout from your soapbox?
Yeah. I mean, it's don't undereat. Like, don't
Uh,
undereat. And I see that a lot, especially in athletes who are concerned about gaining weight when they are injured because now they're not burning as many calories. Your body's still burning. And if you're really concerned, reach out to your dietitian and you can figure out, um, what the right amount is and get a benchmark so you're not under eating.
Brilliant. That is really great advice and probably not what most people think of
Mm-hmm.
when they're thinking about eating for recovery. So thank you, Tara. Thank you for sharing your brilliance with
Yeah.
us. And there's so much we
You're
can learn
welcome.
from you. So if people want to find you, where can they look to find you?
Instagram at Tara Dell, and my website, taradeltells.com.
Great. Awesome. And you do some wonderful blogging over there and have all sorts of good information and ways people could work with you moving forward. So thank you so much. And hopefully I will see you tomorrow on the trails.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
All right.
Bye, Tara.
Bye.
That's it for this week. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a comment and review as that helps more people find out about it. You can find me and the courses I teach at mountainrebalance.com and on Instagram. If there's a topic you want to hear about, please reach out and let me know.